Welcome to video 3 in the Reality Transurfing Fundamentals series. Today, we explore one of the most transformative and practical concepts in reality transurfing, the world as a mirror. You'll discover how your thoughts, attitudes, and feelings are reflected back to you as your lived experience, and how you can consciously work with the mirror of reality to create the life you desire. The concept of reality as a mirror is not merely a metaphor, but a profound mechanism that operates continually in our lives, often without our conscious awareness. Throughout human history, across diverse philosophical traditions, spiritual teachings, and even modern quantum physics, versions of this fundamental truth have emerged. The observer affects the observed. Consciousness creates reality. As within, so without. The pioneering quantum physicist Werner Heisenberg noted that the universe begins to look more like a great thought than a great machine, while the ancient Hermetic axiom tells us, as above, so below, as within, so without. Reality transurfing synthesizes these perennial insights into a practical framework for conscious reality creation. Before we dive deeper, take a moment to reflect on your own experience. Have you noticed how certain patterns repeat in your life? How particular types of people or situations seem to follow you wherever you go? These are not random coincidences, but manifestations of the mirror principle at work. Your inner landscape, beliefs, expectations, and emotional patterns creates resonance with matching external experiences. As we explore this concept together, I invite you to approach it not just intellectually, but experientially. Test these principles in your daily life. Become a conscious observer of the correlation between your inner states and outer circumstances. The mirror of reality is not an abstract concept, but a living, responsive field that you interact with in every moment. 1. The dual mirror, physical and metaphysical reality. Reality transurfing teaches that our world is like a gigantic dual mirror. On one side is the physical universe, the world you see, touch, and interact with. On the other side is the metaphysical alternative space, the infinite field of possibilities that contains every potential version of reality. To truly comprehend the significance of this dualism, we must first transcend our conventional understanding of reality as a singular fixed entity. The material world we perceive, with its apparent solidity and permanence, represents just one actualized slice of an infinite spectrum of possibilities. Quantum physics has demonstrated that at the subatomic level, particles exist in states of probability until observed, collapsing into definite states through interaction with consciousness. This scientific revelation mirrors what ancient wisdom traditions have claimed for millennia. Reality is fundamentally malleable, responsive to consciousness, and exists in a state of dynamic potentiality. The alternative space can be understood as a vast information field, a cosmic template containing every possible scenario, relationship, outcome, and experience imaginable, and even those beyond imagination. It is not located somewhere else, but interpenetrates our physical reality, existing alongside and within it as its generative matrix. This concept parallels Carl Jung's collective unconscious, Rupert Sheldrake's morphic fields, and the Akashic records of Eastern traditions, a realm where all possibilities exist simultaneously in an unmanifested state. When we recognize this dual nature of reality, we begin to understand our role as conscious bridges between these realms. Through our awareness, intentions, and emotional states, we continuously select and activate specific sectors of the alternative space, drawing them into physical manifestation. This process occurs whether we're conscious of it or not, which explains why so many people create realities that seem to happen to them rather than through them. Consider the metaphor of a radio receiver. Your consciousness acts like a tuning mechanism, selecting particular frequencies from the infinite bandwidth of the alternative space. Whatever station you tune to, through your habitual thoughts, beliefs, and emotional patterns, determines what broadcast manifests in your physical experience. This is not a mystical process, but a fundamental principle of how consciousness interacts with the field of potentiality. The practical implication is profound. By understanding this dual mirror, you gain access to the control panel of reality creation. Rather than struggling to change circumstances in the material world through force and effort alone, you can shift your focus to selecting different sectors of the alternative space, allowing new possibilities to flow into manifestation with greater ease and coherence. The mirror analogy: how reality reflects your inner world. Think of yourself standing in front of a mirror. The physical you is real and tangible. The reflection is intangible, yet it perfectly mirrors your appearance. In reality transurfing, the material world is the reflection. The image that creates this reflection is your inner world, your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and expectations. This mirror analogy offers a profound shift in perspective. Most of us operate as if the external world is primary, and our internal responses are reactions to it. Reality transurfing inverts this understanding, revealing that our inner landscape is actually the generative force that shapes what we experience externally. The mirror of reality doesn't create, it reflects. It doesn't initiate, it responds. The implications of this truth run counter to conventional wisdom. We've been taught that objective reality exists independently of our perception, that the world is what it is, regardless of how we think or feel about it. While there is indeed a shared physical reality, our individual experience of that reality is profoundly shaped by our interpretive lens. Two people can encounter identical circumstances, yet have radically different experiences based on their internal programming. Whatever you project onto the world reflects back to you. If you expect hostility, you'll encounter hostility. If you expect abundance, opportunities arise. The world literally consents to your thoughts about it, matching your expectations and attitudes. This mirroring occurs through multiple mechanisms. On a psychological level, your beliefs act as filters, causing you to notice and give significance to events that confirm your expectations while overlooking contradictory evidence. Neuroscientists call this confirmation bias, the tendency to seek and interpret information in ways that validate pre-existing beliefs. On a behavioral level, your inner state manifests in subtle physical signals, body language, tone of voice, facial microexpressions that influence how others respond to you. Someone who internally expects rejection will unconsciously communicate defensiveness, creating the very rejection they fear. On a quantum level, as proposed by theories like biocentrism and the observer effect, consciousness itself may be a fundamental force that organizes probability fields into coherent experience. While the full mechanisms remain mysterious, the correlation between inner state and outer experience is undeniable to those who observe it in action. As Vadim Zeland, the originator of reality transurfing, eloquently states, "Life is a game in which the world is constantly setting its inhabitants the same riddle. Go on, guess what I am like." Everyone replies in accordance with their own perception of the world. The world agrees and stands before each participant in the image they ordered. This concept finds resonance across wisdom traditions. In Buddhist philosophy, the principle of dependent origination, Pratitya Samutpad, suggests that nothing exists independently. All phenomena arise in dependence upon multiple causes and conditions, including the consciousness that perceives them. The biblical teaching that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, Proverbs 23 verse 7, similarly acknowledges the generative power of inner states. Consider how this mirror principle operates in your daily experience. When you wake up anticipating a difficult day, the mirror of reality tends to return circumstances that match that expectation. Traffic seems more frustrating, colleagues more irritating, obstacles more insurmountable. Conversely, when you awaken with positive expectation, the same objective reality appears transformed. Opportunities emerge, connections flow, and solutions present themselves. This is not mere positive thinking or psychological reframing. The mirror principle suggests that you are actually selecting different sectors of the alternative space based on your dominant thoughts and feelings, manifesting different versions of reality accordingly. The external world organizes itself around your inner state with remarkable fidelity, though often in ways too subtle or synchronistic to be explained by conventional cause and effect. Number 3, the feedback loop, image and reflection. Most people are caught in a feedback loop. They observe reality, react to it, and reinforce their beliefs. For example, if you believe life is hard, you notice hardships, react with frustration, and the world continues to reflect that belief back to you. This cycle creates what psychologists call a self-fulfilling prophecy, a prediction that directly or indirectly causes itself to become true. The self-reinforcing nature of this feedback loop explains why patterns in our lives can seem so stubborn and persistent, even when we consciously desire change. To understand this mechanism more deeply, let's examine how it unfolds. A. Formation of belief. Through early experiences, cultural conditioning, or significant emotional events, we form core beliefs about ourselves, others, and reality itself. These beliefs often operate below conscious awareness. B. Selective perception. Our beliefs act as perceptual filters, causing us to notice and emphasize information that confirms them while overlooking contradictory evidence. Someone who believes people can't be trusted will readily notice instances of dishonesty while discounting examples of trustworthiness. C. Emotional amplification. When we encounter evidence that supports our beliefs, we experience an emotional response: vindication, fear, anger, resignation, that reinforces the belief energetically. D. Behavioral expression. Our beliefs and emotions manifest in behaviors and choices that often create the very circumstances we believe in. A person who believes relationships always fail may unconsciously sabotage connections through defensiveness or withdrawal. E. External manifestation. Through both psychological mechanisms and the quantum responsiveness of reality, our dominant inner states materialize as matching circumstances. F. Confirmation and reinforcement. We interpret these manifestations as further evidence of our beliefs, strengthening them and completing the cycle. This is the mirror trap. We focus on the reflection, our circumstances, forgetting that it is our inner image, our thoughts and attitudes, that shapes what we see. The more attention you give to what you dislike, the more the mirror reflects it back. This is why negative thinking and aversion tend to perpetuate themselves. Consider a concrete example. Jane believes she's not good enough professionally. This belief causes her to notice every mistake she makes and minimize her successes, selective perception. In meetings, she feels anxious and insecure, emotional amplification, which manifests as hesitation when speaking and defensive responses to feedback, behavioral expression. Colleagues sense her insecurity and trust her with fewer responsibilities, external manifestation. Jane sees this as proof of her inadequacy, confirmation, strengthening the original belief. Breaking this cycle requires awareness and intervention at any point in the loop. The most powerful intervention comes from recognizing that your inner image, not the reflection, is the causal element. When you change your relationship with reality at the level of belief and perception, the mirror must eventually reflect that change. This understanding liberates us from victimhood. We're not passive recipients of random circumstances, but active creators engaged in a continual dialogue with reality. The feedback loop isn't happening to you. It's happening through you. And what flows through you is ultimately determined by you. 4. Why negativity is so powerful. The mirror of the world does not distinguish between what you want and what you don't want. It simply reflects the content of your thoughts, regardless of their orientation. If you passionately hate something, you focus your energy on it, and the mirror returns it in abundance. This principle explains one of the most frustrating paradoxes of human experience: why we often manifest precisely what we're trying to avoid. The mechanism is both simple and profound. Attention is the currency of creation, and whatever commands your attention becomes magnified in your reality, regardless of whether you desire or despise it. Consider these common examples of how negativity becomes amplified through the mirror principle. If you constantly think, "I don't want to be poor," the mirror hears poverty and reflects circumstances that reinforce that image. Your consciousness is focused on lack rather than abundance, and the mirror faithfully returns what you're focusing upon. If you dislike your appearance and focus on your flaws, the mirror confirms your self-image. Your attention to perceived shortcomings actually enhances them in your perception and often in your physical reality through subtle changes in posture, expression, and self-care. If you obsess about avoiding failure, your attention is fixed on failure itself. This creates anxiety that impairs performance and attracts the very outcome you fear. Athletes call this choking, when excessive concern about mistakes creates the mistakes themselves. This mechanism operates with particular power in relationships. If you're constantly worried your partner might leave, You focus on potential signs of abandonment, behave insecurely, and often create the very distance you fear. Your attention is focused on separation rather than connection, and the mirror responds accordingly. The neurological basis for this phenomenon relates to how our brains process negative statements. When you think, "I don't want to be sick," your brain must first represent the concept of sickness before it can negate it. The primary neural activation centers on the avoided concept itself. This is why affirmations phrased as negations, "I am not anxious," often fail or backfire. Emotionally charged negativity is especially powerful because it unites the heart and mind in intense focus. When you deeply fear or hate something, you're not casually thinking about it. You're emotionally invested, creating a sharp, clear image that the mirror reflects with precision. This explains why our deepest fears and aversions tend to manifest with remarkable consistency. Ancient wisdom traditions have long recognized this principle. In Taoism, it's expressed as resistance creates persistence. In Buddhism, it appears as what you resist persists. Modern psychological research confirms this understanding through studies on ironic process theory, also called the white bear problem, which demonstrates that deliberate attempts to suppress thoughts often increase their occurrence. Breaking free from this negativity trap requires a fundamental shift in approach. Rather than fighting against what you don't want, direct your attention toward what you do want. Instead of trying not to be poor, focus on abundance. Instead of avoiding illness, envision vibrant health. Instead of worrying about relationship problems, imagine and feel into harmonious connection. This shift isn't mere positive thinking. It's a strategic reallocation of your most precious resource, conscious attention. By choosing the focus of your awareness, you choose which sectors of the alternative space you activate, determining what reality the mirror will reflect back to you. 5. The principles of the mirror. Reality Transurfing identifies several key principles for working with the mirror of reality. Understanding these principles allows you to move from unconscious creation to conscious participation in the shaping of your experience. First principle, the world reflects your relationship to it. The world is a mirror that reflects your relationship to it. If you believe the world is friendly and supportive, it will be. If you believe it's hostile and unfair, that's what you'll experience. This principle extends beyond simple optimism or pessimism. It encompasses your fundamental assumptions about reality. Whether the universe is abundant or scarce, whether people are essentially trustworthy or threatening, whether opportunities are everywhere or nowhere to be found. These core beliefs form what psychologists call your mental models and what reality transurfing terms your worldview. Your relationship with reality has many layers, from conscious thoughts to subconscious beliefs to deep archetypal patterns. All these layers contribute to the image that reality reflects back. This explains why surface-level positive thinking often fails to create lasting change. The deeper layers of your relationship with reality may contradict your conscious intentions. Historical figures who achieved remarkable success often demonstrate this principle in action. Thomas Edison, who experienced thousands of failures while inventing the practical electric light bulb, famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His relationship with failure was fundamentally different from most people's. He viewed it as valuable information rather than personal defeat. The mirror of reality reflected this relationship, providing him with persistent creativity and eventual success. Similarly, Nelson Mandela maintained an internal relationship with freedom even while physically imprisoned for 27 years. His autobiography reveals that he never surrendered his inner liberty, treating prison guards with dignity and using confinement as an opportunity for growth. The mirror eventually reflected this inner freedom as external liberation and leadership. On a practical level, this principle invites you to examine your fundamental relationship with core aspects of existence: money, health, love, time, opportunities, challenges, and your own identity. These relationships form the template that the mirror of reality uses to shape your experience. Second principle, unity of heart and mind. A clear, powerful image is created when your heart, feelings, and mind thoughts are in unity. When you desire something with both heart and mind, you activate outer intention, which materializes your chosen sector of the alternative space. This principle addresses a common reason for failed manifestation attempts: inner conflict. Many people think positive thoughts while feeling negative emotions, creating a blurred or contradictory image that the mirror cannot clearly reflect. It's like trying to take a photograph while shaking the camera. The result is unfocused and distorted. The unity of heart and mind creates coherence, a state where your emotional energy and mental direction align to form a clear signal. Quantum physicist William Tiller's research on intention suggests that coherent intention produces measurable effects on physical systems, changing the properties of water and accelerating seed germination rates. While mainstream science continues to debate these findings, they align with the experiential reality of those who practice coherent creation. Ancient wisdom traditions have long recognized this principle. In Hebrew mysticism, Kavanah refers to the unity of heart and mind in prayer. In Eastern practices, the alignment of feeling and intention is essential for effective meditation and manifestation. Modern performance psychology confirms that peak achievement requires both intellectual understanding and emotional engagement. Achieving this unity requires integration of your conscious desires with your subconscious emotional patterns. Techniques like visualization with feeling, embodied imagination, and coherence practices help align these dimensions. When your intellectual understanding of what you want harmonizes with your emotional desire for it, you create a powerful, clear image that the mirror reflects with precision. Third principle: the mirror has a delay. Unlike a regular mirror, the world's mirror has a time delay. You may not see immediate results from changing your thoughts and attitudes. Persistence and patience are essential. Hold your desired image in mind, and over time, the reflection in your reality will begin to change. This delay explains much of the frustration people experience when working with conscious creation. We're accustomed to immediate feedback in the physical world. When you move your hand, the mirror instantly shows your hand moving. But the mirror of reality operates differently, with varying time lags between inner shift and outer manifestation. Several factors influence this delay. 1. The momentum of existing patterns. Just as a large ship requires time to change course, established patterns in your life carry momentum that gradually shifts with new input. 2. Belief integration. New thoughts must penetrate from conscious awareness into deeper belief structures, a process that happens through repetition and emotional reinforcement. The ripple effect of causality. Material manifestations often require the alignment of multiple factors that unfold in sequence through time. 4. Quantum probability shifts. According to some interpretations of quantum mechanics, consciousness influences probability fields that gradually consolidate through persistent attention. The historical development of scientific breakthroughs illustrates this delay principle. When Einstein formulated relativity, the scientific community initially rejected it. But as he maintained his clear vision and gathered supporting evidence, the mirror of scientific consensus eventually reflected his understanding. Similarly, in your personal reality, maintaining a consistent inner image despite apparent contradiction from current circumstances allows new possibilities to gradually materialize. Understanding this delay prevents discouragement and abandonment of new patterns before they've had time to manifest. The metaphysical principle, energy flows where attention goes, remains true, but the full manifestation of this energy in material form requires patience and persistence. 6. Breaking the mirror trap. Changing the image, not the reflection. Most people try to change their circumstances, the reflection, through struggle and force, which is often ineffective. The real power lies in changing the image you project, your thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes. This principle represents one of the most profound shifts in approach to life's challenges. The conventional strategy is to identify problems in our external reality and apply effort to change them directly. We see financial problems and work harder. We experience relationship difficulties and try to change the other person. We encounter health issues and seek external remedies. While direct action has its place, reality transurfing reveals that we're often working at the wrong level. When you recognize that external circumstances are reflections of internal patterns, you gain access to the generative level of reality creation. It's the difference between repeatedly wiping a mirror that shows a distorted image versus adjusting what the mirror is reflecting. Consider these contrasting approaches. Reflection level approach. You notice you're constantly experiencing conflict with colleagues. You develop better argument techniques, document problems meticulously, and prepare defensive strategies. Image level approach. You examine your belief that people are adversaries and intentionally shift to seeing colleagues as allies with shared goals. You focus on points of agreement rather than difference and visualize harmonious relationships. The reflection level approach often creates temporary changes at best because it doesn't address the source pattern generating the experiences. The image level approach creates sustainable transformation by changing the template that reality reflects. This understanding explains why similar external strategies produce different results for different people. Two entrepreneurs might use identical business methods, yet one thrives while the other struggles, because their inner images of success, deservingness, and possibility differ dramatically. Breaking the mirror trap requires, instead of focusing on what you don't want, focus on what you do want. Create a clear vision of your desired experience rather than fixating on problems. Instead of reacting to negative circumstances, consciously choose your attitude and outlook. Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, noted that the last of human freedoms is the ability to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Instead of forcing external change, cultivate the internal state that corresponds to your desired reality. Embody the feelings, perspectives, and energetic signature of your preferred experience. When you shift your focus from the reflection to the image, you break the feedback loop and begin to influence reality at its source. This doesn't mean ignoring practical action, but rather ensuring that your actions flow from an aligned inner state rather than from reaction to circumstances. Historical figures who created revolutionary change often exemplify this principle. Mahatma Gandhi's instruction to be the change you wish to see in the world reflects his understanding that transformation begins with embodying the reality you seek to create. Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech powerfully projected an inner image of equality and dignity that eventually reshaped American society, though not without delay and continued effort. On a personal level, breaking the mirror trap means recognizing when you're caught in reaction to circumstances and consciously choosing to work at the level of cause, your inner state, rather than affect external conditions. This shift in focus represents one of the most empowering changes you can make in approaching life's challenges. 7. Practical steps: how to work with the mirror. Understanding the mirror principle intellectually is just the beginning. Real transformation comes through practical application in daily life. Here are specific steps to consciously work with the mirror of reality. A. Inventory your thoughts. Notice the dominant themes of your inner dialogue. Are you focused on problems or solutions, lack or abundance, criticism or appreciation? Begin by developing awareness of your default thought patterns. Throughout the day, pause periodically and observe your mental content without judgment. What recurring themes emerge? What stories do you tell yourself about your capabilities, others' intentions, and what's possible in your life? This inventory often reveals surprising patterns. Many people discover they've been unconsciously reinforcing limiting narratives through habitual thought. A client once tracked her thoughts for a week and was shocked to find that over 70% of her inner dialogue involved worry, criticism, or scenarios of things going wrong. Journaling is a powerful tool for this inventory process. Each evening, record the dominant thought patterns of your day. Look for recurring themes, emotional triggers, and underlying assumptions. Pay particular attention to thoughts that feel factual rather than optional. These are often the most deeply embedded beliefs shaping your reality. Modern mindfulness practices provide excellent support for thought observation. Apps like Headspace, Insight Timer, or Waking Up offer guided meditations specifically designed to develop the capacity to witness thoughts without identification. As Eckhart Tolle notes, the beginning of freedom is the realization that you are not the possessor of your thoughts, but the observer of your thoughts. Create a positive amalgam. Choose a dominant positive formula for your relationship to the world. For example, my world takes care of me. Everything happens for my benefit. My world chooses the best for me. Repeat this formula often, especially when faced with challenges. Over time, this becomes your new background attitude, and the mirror will reflect it. The concept of an amalgam in reality transurfing refers to a consolidated formula that encapsulates your chosen relationship with reality. This is not merely an affirmation, but a fundamental stance, a lens through which you interpret all experience. When selecting your amalgam, choose something that resonates emotionally, not just intellectually. The formula should feel both expansive and believable. If everything in my life is perfect creates internal resistance, try something like, I'm moving toward increasing well-being each day, or I find value in every experience. The power of your amalgam grows through consistent application. British Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli demonstrated this principle when he stated, I have brought myself by long meditation to the conviction that a human being with a settled purpose must accomplish it, and that nothing can resist a will which will stake even existence upon its fulfillment. His amalgam of inevitable success shaped a remarkable political career despite numerous setbacks. Modern neuroscience supports this practice through our understanding of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. Consistent mental rehearsal of your amalgam literally reshapes your neural architecture, making your chosen relationship with reality increasingly automatic. C. Embrace patience and trust. Remember, the mirror works with a delay. Don't become discouraged if changes aren't immediate. Trust the process and keep projecting your chosen image. This patience requires a meaningful relationship with time itself. Rather than demanding instant results, a form of resistance that actually impedes manifestation, develop what ancient wisdom traditions call patient allowing, the balance between active intention and peaceful acceptance. Trust is equally essential. When you worry whether the mirror principle is working, you actually create images of doubt and uncertainty, which the mirror faithfully reflects as ambiguous results. Trust means maintaining your chosen image regardless of current appearances, knowing that the delay principle is operating exactly as it should. Historical innovation offers numerous examples of this patience principle. James Dyson created 5,126 failed prototypes before developing his revolutionary vacuum cleaner. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter manuscript was rejected by 12 publishers before finding success. Thomas Edison conducted thousands of experiments before creating a viable light bulb. In each case, persistence through the delay period was essential to eventual manifestation. Practical strategies for cultivating patience include celebrating small shifts and synchronicities that indicate movement, documenting your journey to observe gradual progress over time, creating rituals that reinforce your trust in the process, studying examples of delayed manifestation in others' lives. D. Practice gratitude and acceptance. Whatever happens, affirm that the world is taking care of you. Even setbacks can be reframed as part of a greater flow leading you to your goals. This attitude keeps your energy positive and aligned with favorable sectors of the alternative space. Gratitude serves as a powerful calibrator of your relationship with reality. When you consistently appreciate what is present, you activate a resonance with abundance rather than scarcity. This isn't mere positive thinking, but a realignment of your energy with life-supporting frequencies. Research at the HeartMath Institute suggests that gratitude creates coherent heart rhythms that facilitate overall physical and psychological well-being. Their studies indicate that feelings of appreciation create measurable changes in heart rate variability, immune function, and hormonal balance, suggesting that gratitude affects not just psychology, but physiology. Acceptance complements gratitude by releasing resistance to current conditions. This doesn't mean passive resignation, but rather the recognition that fighting against what is already manifested wastes energy that could be directed toward creating what you prefer. The Taoist concept of Wu Wei, non-forcing action, captures this approach, accomplishing through alignment rather than struggle. Practical gratitude practices include a daily written gratitude journal, noting 3 to 5 specific experiences. Gratitude meditation, where you systematically appreciate aspects of your life. Verbal expressions of thanks to others, which reinforces appreciation socially. Gratitude walks, where you mentally note everything you appreciate in your environment. When combined with your chosen amalgam, these practices create a powerful feedback loop that gradually reshapes your reality reflection. 8. The power of letting go. Paradoxically, when you stop trying to control the reflection and instead trust the process, you gain real control over your reality. Letting go of excessive importance, criticism, and negative expectations allows the alternatives flow to guide you to the best outcomes. This paradox of manifestation, that releasing attachment to outcomes actually facilitates their achievement, appears across numerous wisdom traditions. In Taoist philosophy, it's expressed as, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." In Christian teaching, it appears as, "Thy will be done." In Buddhist practice, it's embodied in the concept of non-attachment. The mechanism behind this paradox relates to how excessive importance creates tension and resistance that block the natural flow of manifestation. When you designate something as absolutely crucial, you typically A. Generate anxiety about potential failure. B. Create rigid expectations about how success should appear. C. Attempt to force outcomes through willpower. D. Resist intermediate steps that don't match your expectations. These reactions constrain the infinite creativity of the alternative space, limiting the pathways through which your desires can manifest. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning your desires or becoming passive. Rather, it means releasing the stranglehold of attachment while maintaining clear intention. It's the difference between gripping something so tightly your hand cramps versus holding it securely but comfortably. Historical achievements often demonstrate this principle in action. Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin when he noticed mold killing bacteria in a petri dish he had set aside and forgotten. His breakthrough came not through forced effort, but through receptivity to the unexpected. Similarly, Albert Einstein reported that many of his insights arrived during relaxed states, while taking walks, sailing, or playing violin, rather than during concentrated analytical work. In relationships, this principle explains why desperation repels, while self-sufficiency attracts. When you cling to a relationship outcome, you project neediness that the mirror faithfully reflects as relationship challenges. When you release attachment while maintaining clear intention, you create space for organic connection. Practical approaches to cultivating this letting go include meditation practices that develop non-attached awareness, surrender rituals where you symbolically release outcomes to your higher self, the as-if approach, living as if your desire is already fulfilled, removing the anxiety of waiting, regular reflection on how unexpected paths have led to positive outcomes in your past. Physics offers a compelling metaphor for this process in wave-particle duality. When scientists attempt to directly observe a particle's position, they lose information about its momentum. Similarly, when you fixate on controlling exactly how your manifestation should appear, you constrain its natural unfolding. Letting go allows reality to organize itself optimally around your intention, often in ways more creative than your conscious mind could have engineered. 9. Real-world example. Imagine two people in the same situation, both lose their jobs. One sees it as a disaster, focusing on fear and lack. The world reflects this with ongoing struggle. The other sees it as an opportunity, trusting that something better is coming. The world responds by opening unexpected doors. Both are right. The mirror simply reflects their inner image. Let's explore this scenario in greater depth to see how the mirror principle operates in practice. Person A, the mirror of fear. Michael receives notice that his position is being eliminated due to company restructuring. His immediate internal response is catastrophic. "This is devastating. I'm too old to find another good job. My savings won't last long. The economy is terrible for job seekers." This inner image, composed of fear, scarcity, and hopelessness, begins to shape his reality experience through several mechanisms. 1. Perceptual filtering. Michael notices and emphasizes negative economic news while dismissing positive indicators. He recalls every story of prolonged unemployment while forgetting stories of successful career transitions. 2. Physiological impact. His stress response activates, raising cortisol levels and impairing cognitive function. This affects his interview performance, making him appear tense and desperate to potential employers. 3. Behavioral changes. He approaches job applications with an energy of fear, writing cover letters that subtly communicate desperation rather than confidence. In networking situations, he focuses on his problems rather than his value, making connections uncomfortable. 4. Energetic projection. The quantum field responds to his dominant emotional frequencies of fear and lack, organizing probabilities that match this vibrational signature. 5. Interpersonal dynamics. His anxiety makes others uncomfortable, causing them to withdraw support rather than offering connections and opportunities. As weeks pass, Michael's experience confirms his fears. Interviews go poorly, applications receive no response, and his financial situation deteriorates. The mirror reflects exactly what he projected, creating a self-reinforcing cycle. Person B, the mirror of opportunity. Jennifer receives the same notice about her position being eliminated. Her internal response is significantly different. This is unexpected, but could be perfect timing. I've been feeling ready for a change. This is an opportunity to find something more aligned with my values and skills. The right doors will open. This inner image, composed of openness, trust, and positive expectation, shapes her reality through the same mechanisms, but with opposite effects. 1. Perceptual filtering. Jennifer notices emerging industries, growth sectors, and success stories of career pivots. She interprets economic data through a lens of opportunity. 2. Physiological optimization. Her balanced stress response produces optimal levels of neurochemicals like dopamine and oxytocin, enhancing creativity, sociability, and problem-solving. 3. Behavioral advantage. She approaches job applications with genuine enthusiasm, writing cover letters that communicate confidence and value. In networking, she focuses on possibilities and connections rather than problems. 4. Energetic alignment. The quantum field organizes probabilities that match her dominant frequencies of openness and positive expectation. 5. Interpersonal magnetism. Her authentic optimism attracts others who want to help, creating a support network that generates unexpected opportunities. As weeks pass, Jennifer's experience validates her perspective. She connects with a former colleague who refers her to an unlisted position. During interviews, her positive energy creates rapport that distinguishes her from other candidates. She ultimately secures a position that offers better compensation and alignment than her previous job. The contrast between Michael and Jennifer demonstrates several key aspects of the mirror principle. 1. Same external trigger, different reflection. Both faced identical circumstances, yet their realities unfolded dramatically differently based on their inner images. 2. Multiple mechanisms at work. The mirror operated through psychological, physiological, behavioral, energetic, and interpersonal channels simultaneously. 3. Self-reinforcing cycles. Each person's experience validated their initial perspective, demonstrating how the mirror tends to confirm our dominant beliefs. 4. Delayed manifestation. Neither person's ultimate outcome was immediately apparent. The mirror worked with a delay, gradually organizing reality to match their inner states. 5. Direct correlation. The specifics of each person's thoughts and feelings were precisely reflected in their experiences, showing the mirror's remarkable fidelity. This example isn't merely theoretical. Career transitions consistently demonstrate the mirror principle in action. Recruitment professionals regularly report that candidates with positive expectations and genuine confidence are dramatically more successful than those projecting fear and desperation, even with identical qualifications. The mirror doesn't just reflect our conscious thoughts, but our entire vibrational signature, the combined frequency of our thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and expectations. This explains why just think positive is insufficient advice. Authentic transformation requires alignment across all these dimensions, creating a coherent signal for the mirror to reflect. Summary: becoming the master of your reflection. The world is a dual mirror, reflecting your thoughts, feelings, and attitudes. Focus on changing the image you project, not the reflection you see. Unity of heart and mind creates a powerful, clear image that the mirror reflects. Embrace patience, persistence, and trust. The mirror works with a delay. Practice gratitude, positive expectation, and let go of excessive control. By mastering these principles, you become the conscious creator of your reality. The world will begin to reflect your chosen image, and life will transform in ways that once seemed impossible. The journey of conscious reality creation is both profound and practical. It represents a fundamental shift from victim consciousness to creator consciousness, from living at the mercy of circumstances to participating in the ongoing creation of your experience. This mastery doesn't develop overnight. Like any sophisticated skill, it requires practice, patience, and progressive refinement. You'll experience successes and setbacks, moments of perfect alignment, and periods of forgetting. This is the natural learning curve of awakening to your creative power. Remember that the mirror principle doesn't eliminate life's challenges, but transforms your relationship with them. Difficulties still arise, but they become growth opportunities rather than evidence of victimhood. As James Allen wrote in As a Man Thinketh, circumstance does not make the man, it reveals him to himself. The masters of reality creation throughout history share common attributes. They maintain unwavering focus on their vision, regardless of apparent obstacles. They interpret challenges as feedback rather than failure. They balance clear intention with flexible adaptation, and they understand that inner transformation precedes outer manifestation. As you integrate these principles into your life, you'll notice subtle shifts at first, synchronicities, unexpected opportunities, problems resolving more easily than anticipated. These are the early signs that you're beginning to work consciously with the mirror. Over time, these ripples become waves as your reality increasingly reflects your conscious choices rather than unconscious patterns. The ultimate goal isn't perfect control of external circumstances, but alignment with the flow of life itself, the dynamic, creative process through which consciousness expresses in form. When you achieve this alignment, life becomes less a struggle against obstacles and more a dance of co-creation with the intelligent universe. In the next video, we'll dive deeper into the concept of pendulums, external energy structures that influence your thoughts and behavior, and how you can break free from their control to reclaim your creative power. As we conclude this exploration of the world as mirror, I invite you to begin applying these principles immediately. Start with simple experiments. Choose one area of your life and consciously shift your inner image, then observe how reality responds over time. Document your experiences, noting both the inner shifts and the corresponding external changes. The mirror principle isn't merely a concept to understand, but a living reality to experience. As the ancient Hermetic texts state, true without falsehood, certain and most true, that which is above is like that which is below, and that which is below is like that which is above, for the performance of the miracles of the one thing. Remember, you are not at the mercy of circumstance. The world is your mirror. Choose your image wisely, and reality will reflect it back to you. Your journey as a conscious creator has already begun. With each thought, each feeling, each choice of focus, you are projecting an image onto the mirror of reality. By bringing awareness to this process, you transform it from an unconscious mechanism to a powerful tool for deliberate creation. The reflection awaits your conscious direction. What image will you choose to project?